Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crypto and Couple. We're glad that you can join us tonight. I'm here with my wife, Miki.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is the official start of our episodes.
Our very first episode. My name is Chad, and we are glad that you could join us today for our like we said, the first episode. So, I want to turn it over to Miki. What are we talking about today?
So today I am going to ask you a lot about how you started your crypto journey. Because I think it is really easy for so many people right now to know about Bitcoin because, CNBC talk about Bitcoin, Elon Musk talk about Bitcoin, everyone talk about Bitcoin, or celebrity talks about Bitcoin. So it's kind of easy to know or hear about Bitcoin. So you got to know about Bitcoin for the first time back in 2013 or 2011?
Well, 2011 is when I first got to see it. And there was an article that was put out on The Verge, a tech website reviewer, and they were talking about how you could go onto this website called the Silk Road and be able to buy drugs with a thing called Bitcoin. Well,
that sounds sketchy.
So the first thing I was shooting for was to see the drugs. But actually, Bitcoin completely passed me by because I saw that was the means of how to buy on that website. I did not pay attention to it at all. All I heard that was at $2 per $2 per Bitcoin, and that was that. I turned around and I went to my economics class, and it threw it out and did not give it any thought whatsoever. It wasn't until 2013 did I really actually get into Bitcoin and actually understood what the technology was. But of course, there was some other people within my circles who always hinted at, "Hey, Chad, you should check out Bitcoin. You should check out Bitcoin." Then I saw it at $700 per pop. So I went from $2 all the way up to $700. Even still, with hints along the way, I did not see it until I finally sat down with it and took some time with it.
When you heard about Bitcoin again in 2013, did you recalled oh, this is like Bitcoin, I have heard about it, this is like a drug thing or that website thing, I have heard about it? Did you think about it, or you were like, that sounds new?
I was shaking my head at myself. I was disappointed. I could not believe that it existed. It still exists. I could not believe of where it went from $2 all the way up to $700. I could not believe of how much usage in a community that it built up. I thought it was a total scam. And so it was a shock. It was an absolute shock. And that kicked my butt into gear to start learning about it. I dove in as much time as I could after my corporate job at the time. And, now I'm here today, 8 days later, talking about it with you.
Yeah, so right now you're known as technical analyst, TA master on Clubhouse, on Crypto and Coffee. But did you know anything about stock trading or investing or finances or chart at that time, back in 2013 when you heard about Bitcoin again?
Oh, that's a good question. I did not have a 401k back then. I did not, in 2013, I did not have almost a penny to my name, but maybe a little bit of savings. I did not know what technical analysis was. I did not know anything about how financial markets works. All I had was a bunch of economics classes under my belt. But I when that spark of learning of how the technology works, and then being able to take a look at the price when it hit that $700, that really launched me into different areas for me to learn. One of them, as you said, is technical analysis, which is interpreting stock charts with different ways of moving averages or other indicators that you could use. My economics part definitely come back into play. The other part was my technology understanding. I knew how operating systems worked. I knew how networks work. So I was able to leverage those familiar areas and then keep continuing to diving into new ones, such as, oh gosh, actually the politics really came into play with it, because when you see how this, you wonder why Bitcoin exists, but then you go back and you look at how the real world exists outside of Bitcoin. It's nuts compared to how sound the money is. And so there came also this philosophical portion to it, along with learning the tool. So I'm kind of curious. I'm sure our audience is, but when did you hear about Bitcoin?
So I heard about Bitcoin for the first time back in 2016 from you.
Oh, really?
Wasn't it like 1 year after we started dating, or ish?
Yeah, it was about
in summertime, I think.
Yeah, I would say about summer to what is it? That late.
I don't even remember how we started talking about it, but like you suddenly bring up the subject Bitcoin, and that was a start. And I can never turn it off. From the day one until today, I wonder if I have ever had any day without hearing anything about Bitcoin from you in our relationship.
I believe that it would be true.
Yes, so I first heard about Bitcoin back in 2016 in summer from him. And from him, I mean you. And at that time, I didn't know anything. But I wanted to learn more about microfinances or microeconomics or stock trading, because my mom is just so good at stock trading. And I wanted to learn like investing or using my money wisely and stuff. And you showed me the chart, which looks really pretty, with red and green. It looks like Christmas candles. And I was like, oh, that's so pretty. And that looks so professional. I would like to try it. But I didn't know how to try it. But you sent me like $10 worth of Bitcoin at that time. And you told me that just check the price every day. And if you want to buy more, buy more. If you want to just sell, you can just cash it out.
I should have just told her to smash buy it. Sell your house, sell your cat, everything.
Yeah. So you gave me like $10 worth of Bitcoin, and I checked the app and checked the price every single day, and kind of saw like going up and going down, and like, oh, maybe it's time to buy a little bit, just like $10 more, or $30 more, or just like little by little. And then, yeah, that's how I started.
Beautiful way to get it done. Not. It's not like all gas, no brakes type of scenario. Just a little toe tip. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was so after, when was the like break happened, the boom happened?
Well, that'd be about November 2017.
Yeah.
And that went up to about $19,000.
Yeah. So that time, I was. Okay, so there are two types of people in Japan. I'm from Japan, by the way. I'm from Japan, and I was in Japan at that moment. So there, when Bitcoin boomed to 19,000, you said. There are so many people who made like millions of bucks of profit, and we call it okuribito. Oku is like $1 million yen in yen. But anyway, so there are so many like rich people suddenly just pop, and then I made a lot of profit too, because I like bought a little bit, a lot, since like 2016, and at that time the price was around like 2,000 or less than 2,000, and we were so excited, like, oh my god, it break like $3,000, woohoo, we're gonna be rich or something. So
the good old days.
I know. So I obviously made a lot of profit, but I was scared because I didn't know anything about Bitcoin, but I all of a sudden got money. And then there are so many people who misunderstood that, oh, maybe I have a talent. Oh, maybe I'm good at it. Oh, maybe I can quit my job and live with crypto without studying. So I saw so many people like that. And I saw you studying every single day and catching up with news every single day. So my initial reaction was like, this is not the money I earned. I just won the lottery. So I should be really careful with what's happening right now. So that was kind of like the feeling I had when it boomed. And when it crashed. And I was like, okay, now it's my studying or learning time.
Yeah, everybody thinks that they're a genius during a bull market.
I know, they just like bought it and boom, it boomed. And some people say like, oh, I made it boomed. I'm like, no, you didn't. You just bought $300 of Bitcoin nuts. Yeah, so, but when I started learning, like there are some people who used cryptocurrency, or there were already like other like Ripples or Ethereums or other coins too. So like I had so many resources, and I had you so that I could ask you about your question about Bitcoin or the history and everything. But I feel like when you started like really diving into like learning about Bitcoin or studying about it back in 2013, were there so many resources to study, or were there people who could talk about Bitcoin?
Well, definitely 4 years between that first bull run, and then the second one in 2017. There was a different focus as well, technical analysis, and doing as many advanced things using leverage trading, options, etc., in order to take advantage of the market, was the concentration. I would say that the discipline nor the resources to get into. Actually, let me restart the story. Been looking at the charts since 2013 or around there, and been building up the technical analysis and seeing how the price action does work along with the resources that I had. What the problem was is that there wasn't a lot of good charting tools back in 2013 that was one of the biggest problems, and due to its limitations of just bitcoinwisdom.com, or some Yahoo chart that only updates every hour. Like, you could not make any good decisions based on that. 2017 came along, and there was a huge amount of extra resources. Everybody is taking a look at the tickers. There is a lot more different studies being applied from the traditional market into it. So the germs were always there. I would say the other side of it, of learning about Bitcoin, there was, few big heroes that popped up that I got to see. Andreas Antonopoulos, Eric Voorhees, several other people that really understood the technology of it and were able to convey the why and the philosophy of it was very important, along with other people adding pure economics. Was it Mike D'Angelo? Yeah, he was another great resource. But there was those little diamonds in the rough, so to speak. And nowadays, there seems to be a really, really good amount of source out there that's genuine, and able to explain Bitcoin better than it was back in the day. So the space has been evolving for the better, and now I get to be part of some really great communities at this time that can form some really, really exciting new information.
What is the very first thing you did, like when you started learning about Bitcoin or looking at the chart? Did you read a book, or did you just start watching YouTube video, or what did you start with the very first time?
YouTube was definitely a big point. There was also Reddit, which was newly discovered for me back in 2013. And then r/Bitcoin on there particular had a great one. BitcoinTalk.org was another great resource to be able to go through and try to read and understand what's going on with it. I never commented on that. I was able to contribute to it, but I certainly read as much as I could in order to get myself educated on the technical part of it. So nowadays, you got memes that teach us.
Oh yeah.
J Powell
really visualized. Oh, dog is going to moon, or roller coaster going down or up, or this and that.
J Powell make money, printer go burr. Exactly. So, yeah. So the education, quite different than was all the way back in the day.
Yeah, I feel like right now, because like a couple months ago, when we decided to go to Bitcoin conference in Miami, I started feeling like, oh, I should study more because I want to keep up with the conversation or some of the talk at the conference. And then, I have you as husband, thank God. So I can ask so many questions, or I can ask like which books I should read or what I should start with and stuff. But there are so many resources, and there are so many contents on the internet to learn about cryptos or learn about Bitcoin. And there are so many, for example, on the Clubhouse, there are so many Bitcoin group or Bitcoin like room. And then it's just really hard to see like which material to choose and how to learn. And so I bet some of the listener are kind of beginner Bitcoiner, and maybe they want to start studying more about Bitcoin. What would you recommend people to do first, except taking your private lesson?
I would say if you can get through the Bitcoin standard in order to really get a good grasp on it. The other one would be The Internet of Money by Andreas Antonopoulos. Fantastic book. I'm sorry, Bitcoin Standard was also by Saifuddin Amos. Both of those books are incredible at talking about the why aspect of Bitcoin. Sometimes learning about how it works gets really, really hard for people to understand. It's when people pick up an iPhone and they hit send on an email, they never think of how it works. They just do it because they need it to.
Yeah.
So if you're able to put away that point for a bit and concentrate on why it's useful, it is those two books are really, really great to figure out. That part of the problem. You can get things like Mastering Bitcoin, which actually tells you down to the detail of how it works. Now, conceptually, if you know how it works, and you don't need to learn how to write code, just like you don't need to know how to write code to send an email. But if you can understand how to type in an email address, how to type the subject, and then say hello and then hit send, well, then you are going to be able to conquer Bitcoin as well.
Yeah.
So take your time on the how with Mastering Bitcoin if you're going to use that, but also take a look at some other resources on our website, bitcointrarians.com.
Yeah, and also you have private lesson too.
Yeah, that I do have as well. So if any of you want to become a client of Bitcointrarians,
sip the beer.
excuse me. If any of you want to become clients of Bitcointrarians, we would love to have you. We can start you off with some beginning material with a free 5-minute phone call just to get to know each other, make sure that this is a good fit. I will send you away with some homework, and I hope to be able to hear from you afterwards if you want to go through on a detailed basis. We can do 1-hour lessons, or we can soon to be doing some seminars. So I hope you connect with us, and I could be able to teach you that, or even something as advanced as what I'm doing in technical analysis and security audits. So
yeah. I have a couple more questions. Can I ask a couple more questions after you sip another
yes.
piece of beer? So, I think the questions you receive about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency has been changed. Since, okay, so I got to know about Bitcoin 2016. And when you talk about Bitcoin around that time, I think most of the question you get or you received is like, what the hell is Bitcoin? Or why Bitcoin? Or how does that work? Is it trustworthy? Or are you trying to scam me? Or those questions. And maybe a couple of years ago, it will be like, hey, I want to do I invested into Ripple. Hey, I have Bitcoin Cash. Hey, I have this. Maybe most of the questioning a couple years ago was altcoin. And maybe right now you get a bunch of questions and ask you hey, I'm thinking about doing mining. Or hey, I want to buy a computer from you to do the mining and stuff. So do you feel like the question has been changed year by year, or
No, not at all.
No, really?
No, it's it's still the same. There's always those questions of should I buy this, should I do that, and I would say since it hasn't changed, I still stick to the same philosophy. Um, and this is not financial advice at all. But what, in my opinion, if you are just starting to get into the space, I would concentrate on just Bitcoin. I would understand it before you move on to the rest of the other vast areas of cryptocurrency. Uh, Dollar cost average, which means buy a little bit of Bitcoin at a time, whether it's every 2 weeks or whether the price fluctuates up or down, $500 maybe. Buy a little bit then. Those are very, very easy ways for you to get exposure and with proper budgeting. The other space, I would have to say that my view has changed over time, and that is I really do admire the things that are going on outside of Bitcoin. I think they're phenomenal. I think it takes a lot of study and.
Okay, what do you mean outside of Bitcoin?
To be more specific, altcoins. There is also the DeFi space. There's also even CeFi, which is more products coming out that say, "Hey, we'll hold on to your Bitcoin and we'll give you a yield and everything." So there is lots of study and risk management of how these products work, how these coins work, what's the community like, how reputable is it, and that becomes that becomes much more risky outside of just owning Bitcoin and understanding it itself. So get to know the first thing, which is my recommendation, and then the altcoins as well as the rest of the DeFi stuff and CeFi. Let that come second.
Have you bought any altcoin before?
Yes, I bought Dogecoin.
Why didn't you keep it? Wait, when did you buy it and when did you sold?
I made a quick flip and I think I got like 1 or 2 Bitcoin out of it. So I made like $600-700 at that time.
At that time.
Oh wait, yeah, no, more like yes, yeah. So.
I always wanted to own Dogecoin.
Yeah, don't we all right now? In some ways, especially since 2013. Oh, that's just ridiculous.
And also, you are not really like for mining. You do not. You have all the computer in the world in your office, and you do not do mining. And when someone asks you that, hey, I'm thinking about doing mining, you would not really recommend them to do. So we are going to talk about mining at the next episode much deeperly. But, like, can you tell me casually why you do not do it or why you do not really recommend it?
So I like trying to do the easiest option possible. And when I figured out that there were so many barriers to get into mining, I determined it was not worth it. You had to get the best hardware. You then needed to have the lowest cost of electricity. You didn't need to set it up and then maintain it and then disassemble it and then sell the equipment off. That is definitely an operation especially if you want to make it super profitable, you have many, many different problems with it. Being back in 2014, it just didn't seem, it just seemed obvious, 2013, just to buy it on spot. Just buy the actual Bitcoin itself and hold on to it based on the fundamental analysis that I had. And anytime that you got into mining, there was such complexity that the aggravation of getting it and paying off for electricity just seemed not to be worth it. So I chose to buy it just outright, and that was probably one of the smartest things that I could have done as an individual. As for mining itself, I think it's wonderful. There is profit to be made. It is very competitive. So good luck to you out there.
Yeah, we are gonna talk about like what is mining, or what kind of computer you need, or how does mining works, or much deeper thing about mining on the next, hopefully next episode.
Yeah, whichever order we're doing right now. So
Yeah. So okay, so I have one last question to you. Have you ever had oh shit moment in your crypto journey since 2013?
Yeah.
Do you need my hand to count your oh shit moment?
Oh, so back in this about January, February of 2014, a huge Bitcoin exchange called Mt. Gox went down, and it was.
I heard about that. I'm reading a book about Bitcoin, and it said, yeah, goxing.
Oh yeah, got goxed. That was the term that was used for quite a while back in the day. I got to see the exchange go down, which they lost roughly about, I think it was $250 million in Bitcoin at the time, or like 350,000 Bitcoin. 350,000 Bitcoin they lost.
Where is that? Where are those Bitcoin?
The hacked ones are still. I actually don't know where the hacked ones are, but the leftover ones are still in the custody of the bankruptcy case that's going on out there. So there's lots of Bitcoin that is trying to be returned. Well, not trying. Anyways, long story short, when that thing went down, I saw the price drop from like $700 all the way down to $200, if I recall. I think I sold at $300 and I bought back in at $400. My buy got rejected at the time, and I had to buy back in at $600 or something like that. It was, I mean, it was something horrendous of a panic sell and a panic buy combination. And Coinbase at the time did not work well.
You once panicked in the past.
Now I'm just a sadistic person that when I see red candles, that's the best part. So, yeah. So my advice to everybody out there, especially on today's Wednesday, the 19th of May?
Yeah. I'm thinking about posting this first episode on the Bitcoin Pizza Day, though, this Saturday.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I hope you guys got to pick up $30,000 Bitcoin. I hope we didn't panic sell out on that. But of course, we'll go over some of those little things later on in the series. And can't wait to have you guys come back here.
Yeah. So at the next episode, we are going to talk more about what Bitcoin really is. Like what Bitcoin is, what is white paper, or who is Satoshi Nakamoto, or what is altcoin, or all the things like people will learn when they started learning about Bitcoin. So we are going to talk about it at the next episode. But until then, you get to see Chaz daily
TA analysis.
Yeah, TA analysis. So you get to see his chart, and you get to see him talk about what today's market, or what's the price, or so you get to learn a little bit about how to see the chart too. So
can't wait to have you join me also at Crypto and Coffee on Clubhouse. It is I start my time at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, but the show does start at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to join me then. I'll give you the top of the hour news until further notice. Yeah, can't wait for you guys to join us.
Yeah. So if you listen to this, we are new to YouTube, so please give us thumbs up.
Subscribe.
And join the family.
Leave a comment.
Oh, well.
All right. Until then, I'm Chad.
And I'm Miki.
We're Crypto and Couple. We'll
That's
see you.
cute.